This ancient symbol is found in your brain. For thousands of years, we've known this as the Eye of Horus, an ancient Egyptian symbol of protection, restoration, and healing. But what if it isn't just a symbol? What if it's a map? A map that charts the hidden landscape of the human brain. The similarity is genuinely shocking, and for some, it's too close to be a coincidence. It feels like a clue, left behind by a civilization that might have known more about our own minds than we do today. They might have known that this ancient symbol has a home right here, inside your brain. Section 1. The myth of restoration. To understand the secret, you first have to understand the story. And the tale of the Eye of Horus is one of ancient Egypt's foundational myths. It all starts with some major family drama. The god Osiris ruled Egypt during a golden age, but his jealous brother, Seth, the god of chaos, brutally murdered him and scattered his body parts across the land. Osiris's wife, the powerful goddess Isis, was devastated, but she was also determined. She searched all over Egypt to find the pieces of her husband. With help from the gods Thoth and Anubis, she managed to bring Osiris back to life, and he became the ruler of the underworld. But that's not where the story ends. Isis then gave birth to their son, Horus, the sky god, with the head of a hawk. From the moment he was born, Horus was destined to avenge his father. Once he was old enough, he waged a massive war against his uncle Seth to reclaim the throne. In one of their most savage battles, Seth got the upper hand. He tore out Horus's left eye, ripped it into 6 pieces, and threw them away. This is where the symbolism gets really interesting. That eye, often associated with the moon, was now broken. The world was thrown out of balance. It was Thoth, the god of wisdom and magic, who painstakingly found all the scattered pieces. He used his magic to put the eye back together, making it whole again. This restored eye, called the Wedjet or Udjat, was now even more powerful than before. It became the ultimate symbol of healing and making things whole. Horus then gave the restored eye to his father, Osiris, and its power helped sustain him in the afterlife. This act transformed the eye from just an organ for seeing into a profound symbol of protection, sacrifice, and the ultimate victory of good over evil. The ancient Egyptians believed it held real magical power, which is why they wore it on amulets to protect both the living and the dead. They painted it on coffins to guard the body and on the bows of boats for safe passage. But this story of restoration isn't just about a fight between gods. It's a metaphor for a healing process that can happen inside all of us. And the key to it all, the map, might have been hidden in the symbol this whole time. Section 2. The anatomical map. This is where a 3,000-year-old myth crashes into modern science in a way that's pretty hard to ignore. For centuries, the Eye of Horus was just seen as a magical symbol. But a fascinating modern theory asks, what happens when you place that symbol over a cross-section of the human brain? The result is astonishing. The resemblance isn't just vague, it's an incredibly striking overlay of the brain's central structures. Let's break down what this theory points out. The symbol is made of 6 distinct parts, and ancient Egyptians actually assigned a fraction and a sense to each one. First, the theory suggests the main part of the eye lines up with the thalamus. The thalamus is a major relay station in your brain, processing almost all sensory information. The Egyptians linked this piece to the sense of sight and gave it the fraction 1/4. Pretty fitting, since the thalamus is so central to how we perceive the world. Next, the eyebrow shape seems to match the corpus callosum. This is the massive bridge of nerve fibers connecting the left and right hemispheres of your brain, letting logic and intuition communicate. The Egyptians associated this part with thought, assigning it the fraction 1/8. The part pointing toward the ear, representing hearing, appears to align with the primary auditory centers in the brain. This piece was given the fraction 1/16. The part pointing toward the nose is said to represent smell, and its location corresponds to the olfactory trigon, a part of our smell processing center. Its fraction was 1/2. The curved tail, which looks almost like a sprout, is proposed to align with the brain's taste pathways and was given the fraction 1/32. Finally, the teardrop shape is said to represent touch. It seems to mirror the brainstem, a critical pathway for carrying sensations from the body to the brain. This piece got the smallest fraction, 1/64. We know the ancient Egyptians were master artists and pioneers in medicine, but the precision of this alleged alignment is staggering. It suggests a potential understanding not just of the brain's form, but its function, mapping sensory centers onto one elegant symbol. Section 3. The bridge. A coincidence? So you have to ask, is this just a wild coincidence? Did a civilization thousands of years ago just happen to create a mystical symbol that so closely resembles the human brain without any of our modern technology? Or did they know something that we've forgotten? At the very heart of this symbolic map, near the center of the restored eye, we find a structure that has fascinated people for millennia: the pineal gland. In the anatomical overlay, the gland sits remarkably close to where the pupil of the eye of Horus is drawn, the center of sight and awareness. Across countless other cultures, this tiny pine cone-shaped gland has been revered. While the Egyptians didn't call it this, in traditions like Hinduism, it's known as the third eye, the seat of spiritual insight. You see references to it everywhere, from the pine cone staffs of Sumerian gods to the French philosopher René Descartes, who famously called it the principal seat of the soul. It has long been seen as the bridge between our physical and spiritual worlds, a gateway to a higher consciousness. The theory suggests the Egyptians were pointing to this exact spot. The Eye of Horus wasn't just a symbol for what we see with our eyes, but a map to unlock our inner vision, our intuition. It's often called the all-seeing eye for a reason. Maybe they weren't just drawing what they saw in dissections. Maybe they were creating a guide to unlocking human potential. Section 4. The implications and the power within. So if this theory holds any water, why was this knowledge so important to them? Why would they encode a brain map into their most sacred symbol of healing? The answer might lie in what the pineal gland actually does. Modern science has confirmed this tiny gland is our body's timekeeper. It's incredibly sensitive to light and produces melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycles. When it gets dark, melatonin levels rise, preparing us for sleep, dreams, and all the restorative processes that happen when our conscious mind finally quiets down. Ancient traditions seem to understand this intuitively. They knew that by controlling light exposure, through things like meditating in dark caves or living by the natural cycles of day and night, they could influence this gland. They saw it as the gateway to the dream world, to visions, and to mystical states. Some modern researchers even speculate, and this is still a topic of scientific debate, that the pineal gland might be involved in producing DMT, a powerful, naturally occurring psychedelic compound linked to profound mystical experiences. Whether that's true or not, it aligns perfectly with the ancient view of the pineal gland as a kind of spiritual antenna. Following this idea, the Eye of Horus becomes a symbol of awakening this dormant potential. The myth of the eye being broken and then restored is a powerful metaphor for our own lives. In our modern world, filled with artificial light and chaotic schedules, our connection to our intuition can feel fractured, just like Horus's eye was torn into 6 pieces. The restoration of the eye is the journey of making ourselves whole again. It symbolizes healing the divide between our mind and body, our logic and intuition. The Egyptians knew that true power wasn't found out there in the world, but deep within the architecture of our own consciousness. And if this theory is right, they left us a map showing that the source of all healing and power is located right inside our own heads. So what do you think? Is this an incredible coincidence? A case of seeing patterns where there are none? Or is it a clue left behind by a civilization that knew more than we give them credit for? Drop your theories in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Conclusion. We're left with a fascinating puzzle, an ancient symbol of protection that looks like a modern scientific diagram. A myth about warring gods that doubles as a possible instruction manual for inner awakening. The Eye of Horus is more than just a dusty relic. It's a mirror reflecting a hidden part of ourselves. It suggests that the greatest secrets aren't buried in ancient tombs, but are coded inside our very being, waiting for us to look. The alignment is too striking to simply dismiss out of hand. The symbolism is too powerful to ignore. It makes you wonder, if this ancient symbol is a map hidden in our brains, what other secrets are we yet to discover about ourselves? What other dormant abilities are just waiting to be awakened? The journey of Horus to restore what was broken is our own journey, to heal, to become whole, and to finally open our inner eye to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be.